State Rankings is brought to you by the University of Hawaii Community Colleges.
Let's go. Hey, hey, let's turn it up. Let's go. Hey, hey, let's turn it up. Let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's turn it up. Hey. And we gon' win. This my court, my field, my ring. Y'all gon' see who be the champion. Raise up, trays up. Remember the down on the days up. Who worked the hardest, we say it's us. This is the reason we raise up. Hey. Let's go, let's get it up. Let's go, let's go, let's turn it up. Hey. Let's go, let's get it up. Let's go, let's go, let's turn it up. Hey.
How's it going, everybody? Aloha and welcome to another episode of Cover 2, powered by the LA Rams. I'm Rob DeMello, and in this edition of Hawaii High School Football Weekly, it's state championship semifinal weekend, as tickets to the Open, Division I and Division II title games will be earned across 4 different islands. And Rich Miano will help us set the table for a football feast. Brent Clayton takes a deep dive into the Brotherhood of St. Louis, which is on full display over the last week by one of its most admired ambassadors. Billy Hall finds this week's rising star in green and gold, and Mark Veneri goes on the road with the legendary Ma'a Tanuvasa. But first, let's take a look at Hawaii's quest for the Koa Trophy. And we start in Division II, where the Final Four is set. Kapa'a and Kaimuki on one side, as OIA runner-up Roosevelt successfully returned from the Big Island with a win over Kamehameha Hawaii, earning a trip to Maui to face the 3-time defending champs of Lahaina Luna. Over in Division I, the reigning runner-up, undefeated Hilo of the Big Island will lay out the welcome mat to Lelehua, with Moanalua and Iolani serving as an intriguing semifinal as well. And in the Open Division, the 3-time reigning champs of St. Louis will look to make it 37 straight wins against Mililani, while on the other side of the bracket, it's Campbell and Kahuku. Now I want to welcome to the show Spectrum Sports analyst, former Kaiser State champion player and coach, Rich Miano. And coach, as mentioned, the Crusaders aiming at adding another chapter to the dynasty. But if the history books teach us anything, never underestimate the strategy of a Trojan. And head coach Rod York built a schedule to prepare his team for this very game, didn't he?
Yes, Rob. Mililani has had the toughest schedule in the state, with Liberty of Nevada, Bosco from California. And Rod York's motto of anyone, anywhere should serve the Trojans well. But this is a big game against one of the nation's best teams, St. Louis. In big games, your big players need to ball out. I'm talking quarterback Brendan Agbayani, also running back Malosi Sam, wide receiver Kanoa Wilson, and defensively Shane Katie, Muelu Iosefa, Bama Mina, Wyndon Ho'uhuli, and Sonny Semi'atu, along with DB's Asher Pelanka.
Absolute studs on that Trojan team. Crusaders and Mililani, a rematch of last season's state title game, the nightcap of an Open Division doubleheader at Aloha Stadium. But it's the early game that gains the traction of this week's Built Forward tough matchup. Oh, and that rumble you hear is a lifted Raptor with bridge stones bearing down on a prime parking spot. That serves as the image that matches the intensity of Kahuku and Campbell Part 3. Now, despite entering the season as the anticipated heir to the league's throne, the Sabres have struggled against the Red Raiders. In 2 games this season, Kahuku went 2-0 by a combined score of 81-7. With running back Zealand Matongi posting a preposterous 403 yards rushing with 5 touchdowns on just 34 carries. But it must be noted that Sabres stars were on the sideline, as Poki'i Adkins Kupuka'a, Titus Mokiao Atimalala, and Therese Tafai, to just name a few, have all missed Kahuku games in 2019. In the state tournament, Black and Orange are full green on the health meter. Both programs will bring their best in the ultimate test. Who earns their spot in the next week's state championship game.
Being that the bye week, we have 4 weeks bye, it really helped us this year, and it looks like we're coming together as a team, and our coaches are really coaching hard and working hard. We use the word third time's a charm, and we hope it's our charm, and we're going to play hard, and we're going to show up and be both 0-0, and this one, it counts. It's win and move on, and lose the hands in your equipment. We don't want to hand in our equipment right now.
We're telling the boys, the third time we've seen Campbell is now we're going to see their full team. First time we didn't see Poki'i, Tyrese was hurt. The second time we played him, Bubba wasn't playing, Titus was on the sidelines. So now this third time is the real Campbell Sabres. That was preseason number 2. So that's what we're trying to tell the players, that this is a different Campbell team than we've seen the first 2 times.
Now, over the last 20 years, Kahuku graduate Darren Johnson has been the head coach at Kailua, Kaimuki, and Campbell. At those 3 schools, he's gone a combined 1-13 against his alma mater, with his only victory coming last season in Ewa Beach. All right, Coach, we brought up the Sabres being bit by the injury bug this season. One player that has stayed relatively healthy, though, is UH-bound receiver Tamatoa Mokiao Atimalala. Now, the junior tight is deservingly showered with attention, but number 5 is a serious threat as well.
Yeah, Tamatoa, when you talk about a route runner, it's amazing how at the top of his routes, you look at a guy that's 6 feet tall. You look at a guy that is strong, can go over the middle, and then extend plays. I mean, this is one of the state's best receivers, and I think one of the best all-around players in Hawaii.
And you talk about Titus being injured, Poki'i Atkins Kupuka'a was hurt. This is a guy in number 5 that had to play both ways at one point in this season. How big is that for this team?
It's huge. I mean, in terms of leadership, being the senior and having a brother who's a phenomenal football player, and you mentioned Poki'i, this guy is the kind of guy that you want to give the speech in the pregame. The guy that you know each and every week is going to go out there and play offense, defense, and get it done. I mean, he's one of the best players we've seen in a long time coming from the west side.
And as for the pride of the North Shore, vintage running game and defense, and if there's a lab at Kahuku to create the perfect Red Raider, the mold may be fit for Zion Ayu.
Yeah, Zion Ayu, now I've watched this kid for 2 years now. In the Polynesian Football Showcase and Combine in Las Vegas, no one blocked him. GPA football, men in the trenches, no one blocked him. All season, no one has consistently blocked this young man. And when you're Junior Ayu's grandson and you're Leonard Peters' nephew, you talk about DNA and genetics, they're paramount.
And also a rugby All-American. All right, it is continued dominance for the Red Raiders, or 3rd time's a charm for the Sabres. Either way, the winner is state title game bound, and the loser is turning in their gear. Kickoff set for 4 o'clock in Halava. If you're concerned about Pauhana traffic, we'll save you a seat on the hype train.
Choo! Choo!
Hey, what's up, everybody? Former Rainbow Warrior and NFL receiver Greg Salas here. And every week, Diamond Bakery and I are looking for the best touchdown catches in Hawaii prep football. So whether you see it on TV or film it yourself, let us know by using the hashtag #GrabAndGo or tag Rob DeMello on Instagram, and your TD connection can be featured right here on Cover 2. Here's this week's Diamond Bakery Grab and Go.
Courtesy Spectrum OC16. Congratulations to Baldwin senior receiver Kapena Kamai. As a multi-sport athlete that also stars for the Bears baseball team, scored the final points of the Maroon and Blues season. His 63-yard touchdown, time-stamped with a stiff arm, is this week's Grab and Go.
Touchdown, Bears!
Cover 2 is proudly presented by these fine sponsors.
University of Hawaii Community Colleges. Enroll now.
There's a port on the western bay, and it serves 100 ships a day.
If you build a truck tough enough to pull this much forward, you better make sure it's smart enough to back it all up.
They say the same way you're a fine girl. What a good wife you would be. Such a fine girl, your eyes can steal.
This moment is made possible by moments like this. This, and this. Together, we're working to make football better, so we can all enjoy more moments like this.
you doing? This is Aaron Donald with the Los Angeles Rams, and you're watching Cover 2.
Aloha, I'm Moani Hara, and it's Throwback Thursday time. Tonight, we take the Cover 2 time machine back to 1988, where Lelehua's Adrian Morel rewrote the record books in Wahiawa. In this 3 season, as the horsepower to the Mules' rushing attack, number 25 recorded 20 games of 100 yards or more, including 2 that went for 300 plus. His 332 yards game against Waianae in 1988 set a state record and still ranks as the 7th best rushing game in the island football history.
I knew I can do it. It's just me going out there and having a chance to do it.
What in the world happens to create a 300-yard game for a kid? Shoots, I wish we know, and then maybe we can duplicate the process.
After high school, Morel starred at West Virginia before a prolific 11-year career in the National Football League, scoring 23 touchdowns, most notable with the Jets and Cardinals. Today, Morel is in the business development, focusing on real estate and economic growth in the Carolinas. He and his wife of 25 years have 3 children, and as you would expect, Adrian still has the need for speed on the racetrack, with his 68 Camaro that competes in the Southeast Grudge Racing Circuit. Tonight, we send some aloha to the legendary Adrian Morel of the Lelehua Mighty Mules. For Cover 2, powered by the LA Rams, I'm Moani Hara. Thanks for watching.
Welcome back to Cover 2, powered by the LA Rams. Semi-final round of the Division I State Championship Tournament will be played out this weekend, where on one side of the bracket, top-seeded and undefeated Hilo will attempt to earn the program's 3rd consecutive state title game appearance, when the Vikings play host to the Mighty Mules of Lelehua. Now, for the blue and gold, the directive is that it is a new day, as the 2nd phase of their championship race has officially begun.
You know, I think being here over the last several years kind of helps with that message. You know, we talked to the players about, you know, just this is like a 2nd season for us. Everybody who's in the tournament is worthy. Everybody is a quality. They're going to be a quality opponent. You know, so for us, we really try to keep things simple with our approach. You know, we approach every opponent the same. We try to focus on our preparation, on the game plan, on adjustments, play alignment, assignment, fundamental football. Go out there, play free, play fast, and have fun. And just try to replicate that every week.
And as for the other side of the bracket, it's a classic OIA versus ILH showdown in Salt Lake, as Oahu's public school champs of Moanalua will face off with the private school champions of Iolani, a rematch of a season-opening one-point thriller won by Na Menehune on August 10th. And according to Big Blue head coach Savai Eselu, the respect for the culture built on Komoku Street will make it very easy for his team to find the motivation to make it 2 wins against 1 team.
Might as well just kind of throw him up on the walls here with his name and enshrine it already. He does an awesome job, and the thing that's so cool is the 1 team, 1 family aspect. You know, and he makes sure that's reciprocated in the games. And he makes sure that their defense, their offense is all 1 heartbeat, you know, and that definitely in this sport is something you should never underestimate, you know, especially with how fast they are, how cerebral they are. It's a tall order, a tall task, because I know they're ready to go.
And as explained earlier in the program, the Open Division Tournament semifinal will kick off tomorrow night, where in the nightcap of a doubleheader, the 3-time defending state champs of St. Louis will look to add to the Lou's legacy. But as Ren Clayton tells us in 4 Life, following a path built by the Brotherhood goes beyond the game of football.
We hear it all the time, the Brotherhood at St. Louis. The proud Crusader football alumni are seemingly everywhere, but what does it really mean to be a part of the Brotherhood?
When you come to St. Louis and you've been to St. Louis, it's very, very family-like, like Ohana. You know, everybody's parents is like, that's like my parents, or like your auntie and uncle, that's my auntie and uncle.
Cal commit Stanley McKenzie is an imposing D tackle, fitting the mold of big guys from St. Louis playing college football. And then there's Kawali Nishigaya, the impossible-to-tackle slot receiver who at just 5'6" is having one of the best pass-catching seasons in the state.
I'm glad with it, but I know I can just do better and just help the team. Whatever they need me to do, I'll just do it. For sure.
The Crusaders are stacked with senior talent. 5 of the top 6 ranked Hawaii players in the class of 2020 play for St. Louis, and with that comes a lot of fans.
Thank you, bro. What's your name? What is it? Kekai. Nice to meet you, bro. My name is Roman.
The school is for boys grades K through 12th. Imagine walking the same campus as your childhood heroes.
These kids, like, they look up to us, and we have to be a leader for them. Seeing how much we mean to them, I think it makes a big impact on all of us, and I think it's great. It's a great moment in my life.
An objectively not great moment for a St. Louis grad was last weekend when Tua Tagovailoa badly injured his hip, ending his season and maybe his legendary college career.
It was devastating. I mean, you never want to see one of our brothers get hurt like that, but I know God got him, and God has a plan for him.
Tua wears his faith on his sleeve with crosses on his cheeks. He articulated that relationship in 2016 when he won the Cover 2 Marcus Mariota Player of the Year award.
I feel it helps me as a person, not more so with God trying to do things for me, but more so just asking God for help.
Tua's positive outlook permeates his entire team.
I feel bad. I'm hurting. I called him last night because I've been sitting in that room for 10 hours yesterday watching film. I called him to cheer him up. He cheers me up.
As the kind of man he is, like he's not the kind of guy to get down on himself. He picks himself and others up in bad times like that.
The Welches are a St. Louis family. Son Harvey, a junior safety, and dad Gerald, an assistant coach and second-grade teacher. He had his class send Tua letters.
Something to read while he's in the hospital and think about, and you know, I think my students got some good thoughts in there, so hopefully he's encouraged.
From second grade to one of the most famous people in sports. That's the brotherhood. For Cover 2, Ren Clayton.
Pacific Honda is your state-of-the-art dealership right on the edge of downtown. With a fully covered air-conditioned showroom, Pacific Honda offers the best prices, best service, and the best selection in new Hondas right now. Stop by and celebrate our 50th anniversary with us with a great deal on a new Honda. Take advantage of our low leasing and financing deals. Plus, come down for a test drive and a chance to win a trip for 2 to Las Vegas, courtesy of Vacations Hawaii. Pacific Honda, home of the happy Honda lovers.
Being the child of a single parent, I was really fortunate to attend a private school like Kamehameha. But after graduation, my dream of getting a degree in biology from a private university looked out of reach. Then, I discovered the Holomua Financial Aid Program at Hawaii Pacific University. I applied, and now I'm getting my degree, meeting other students from around the world, and even traveling abroad. HPU's commitment to help local students has changed my life. See if it can change yours at hpu.edu.
Hey Hawaii, TV the way you want it is here. Introducing My Way TV. We start you off with more than 80 must-have channels. Then it's all you. We'll be needing some kid shows. Add the Kids and Family Channel Pack.
Football season's here.
Go for the Pro Sports Pack. Channel packs are just $5 or $10 each, and you can add or remove them whenever you like. So I only pay for what I want. Get My Way TV and FiberFast 500 meg internet now for this amazing price. Only from Hawaiian Telcom.
What's my passion? Finding balance with every dance move.
The sound of the ukulele, the softness.
My son's nonverbal, but when he does talk, I need to be able to hear him. Hear well, stay vital. Hearing loss is linked to increased risk of dementia, depression, falls, and isolation. Stay engaged and keep doing what you love. Check your hearing wellness every year.
Aloha everybody, Brada Z here at the HOP training facility for another edition of the Cover 2 Challenge. Tonight, to be real, you gotta feel with them phalanges. How's it everybody? I am with Cody and Gabriel of Pearl City High School. All right, and today we're gonna put them to the test. Behind me is a box with a cutout. We're gonna have a couple of items that they're gonna have to feel blindly. Have you ever done something like this before?
No, sir.
You feel pretty confident, Gabriel?
Absolutely not.
All right, let's get right to it. Item number 1. Go ahead. Oh, wait, oh, whoa. Don't pinch, light. Oh, what? Oh. there's some, oh, yep, watch out. Ooh, ah. All right, we have item number 2. Yeah.
Oh, these gummies.
There's a couple of them in there. What?
These gummy bears.
Whoa, okay. Go ahead, item number 3. Yep, just the, whoa.
Nutella? Peanut butter?
Oh. Item number 4. Go ahead, Gabriel.
Oh, it's a mouthpiece.
Ooh. Wow. 5th and final item. Go ahead, brother.
Oh, this
It got legs. That's something. You in it? You.
fish bait thing.
Hey, what? And there you have it. The results are in, and guess what? We have a tie.
What?
Put your hand down.
What is that?
Yeah, we have a tie, and you know, here at Cover 2, we want to keep things light, peaceful. So you guys got that champ life. It's Brother Z here with Cody and Gabriel of the Pro City Chargers. Catch us on another episode of Cover 2.
Welcome back to Cover 2, powered by the LA Rams. From 2007 to 2012, it was Wendell Look's Iolani Raiders that dominated the Division II landscape, having won 6 consecutive state titles with 8 over a 10-year period. And when the Raiders left for D1, many wondered if parity would prevail in the division. Well, after claiming the last 3 crowns and earning the top seed once again, Lahaina Luna is looking to keep control of the kingdom when they play host to Roosevelt on Saturday night, marking as a state tournament debut for longtime assistant but first-year head coach Dean Ricard, who has the luxury of having experienced captain 4-year starter Josh Tejada at running back.
Having Josh and a player such as Josh, he's been with the program since he was a little kid running on the sidelines. So his dad is also a coach, so he has that mentality of always preparing himself mentally, and not only physically but also mentally. And yeah, he's like having an extra set of eyes on the field. You know, we'll take that under advisement, and then we'll set up game plans based upon his experience, and he's been through it. So again, it's like having another coach on the field. So yeah, that's great.
And over on the other side of the D2 bracket, a pair of league champions will collide on Kauai as the KIF champs of Kapa'a will face off with OIA title holders Kaimuki on Saturday afternoon. Now, the Warriors bring a bodacious balance to an offense fueled by quarterback Kahanu Davis, a strong contender for the Wiedemeyer Award as two-way player of the year. But as Billy Hall tells us in this week's Rising Star, it's beware of the dog at linebacker.
What's up, everybody? Billy Hull of the Honolulu Star Advertiser and Hawaii Prep Road here, back with another Rising Star presented by Domino's. Only 12 teams across the state have yet to turn in their pads, and one of those squads is the 2019 OI champion Kaimuki Bulldogs. One of the most consistent and impressive players for the Bulldogs this season has been senior Kaulana Kaluna Jr., a 5'9", 200-pound linebacker and receiver who is the emotional and vocal leader for the Bulldogs, according to Coach David Tautofi. He's caught 45 passes for more than 700 yards and 8 touchdowns on offense, and he's been dishing out bone-crushing hits on defense from his linebacker spot. Kaluna and the Bulldogs righted one wrong from last season when they beat Roosevelt. Now they get to go try and do it again on the Garden Isle when they play Kapa'a in the state semifinals for the 2nd year in a row after losing last season in a game that came down to the final possession. That's it from here. Now let's go on the road with Mark Veneri.
Yup, I'm back at it again. I got the 2 security guards, Wendell Ho'ohuli, Bam Amina. Coming up next on Cover 2, we're gonna go one-on-one with Ma'a Tanuvasa. Boys, take it away. This is the Trojan Army, and this is Cover 2. Yeah, yeah.
For life.
For life.
For life.
Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union. Here for all your money needs. Here for life.
There's a port on a western bay, and it serves 100 ships a day.
If you build a truck tough enough to pull this much forward, you better make sure it's smart enough to back it all up.
Kim's having a friend over to work on a class project.
Unexpected company.
Don't worry about it, babe. I got it.
Feed everyone for less with the Domino's Mix and Match deal. Choose any 2 or more items for $7.99 each.
Jamba Hawaii is experiencing blue skies and vanilla vibes with the new, beautifully blue and deliciously blended vanilla blue sky smoothie made with almond milk, vanilla coconut milk, bananas, pineapples, and a boost from naturally occurring blue spirulina. Or grab a spoon with our vanilla blue sky bowl, topped with organic granola, strawberries, blueberries, sweet coconut chips, sliced almonds, and goji berries. Vanilla blue sky, now blending at Jamba Hawaii, celebrating 20 years of blending aloha.
Hey, welcome back to Cover 2. I'm joined by the legend of legends for Mililani Trojans, University of Hawaii, Denver Broncos, Super Bowl champion. The list goes on and on. Ma'a Tanuvasa, glad to have you with us here today on Cover 2.
I appreciate the introduction, but I don't know about legends, but a lot of guys who I've watched growing up made me the person I am today, and just want to follow their footsteps.
Awesome. Speaking of big footsteps and opportunities that lie ahead, you guys have St. Louis coming up this Friday. Your thoughts in getting another crack at the Crusaders?
Man, it's it's a game that we learned from. A lot of great skill at the skill position there, and try to guarding those guys with our defense is going to be a great task that we got to try to hopefully do better this time. And we're just hoping that, it's not about beating St. Louis. We're just hoping our guys play their best game out there to give us a chance. And the team with the that has less mistakes should be the winner of that game. But, hopefully it works out, or it's better this time when we play them.
You're a proud alumnus of the Mililani Trojans. Out of all the things, has coaching brought you the most pride and joy to give back to some of these kids that have an opportunity to learn from you?
It has, not just giving what I've learned, but also learning from these kids also. The game has changed so much since I've been in there with social media and, things that these kids have to fight through in order to come to practices, off the field issues. Just being here and having a sanctuary for these kids and be able to not just ask me about football, but ask me about life is, something that I take to heart, and just having fun with it and just seeing these kids grow up in a community where, they become doctors, lawyers, politicians, firemen, policemen, and just overall great character kids.
It was an honor to be next to this guy you can catch. The Mililani Trojans taking on the St. Louis Crusaders in the Division I Open semifinals Friday night. From Ma'a Tanuvasa, I'm Mark Vineri. Back to you guys in the studio.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. All right, fellas, it's double shockers time. Billy Hall, who's getting pinkies and thumbs going east and west?
Yeah, I got to give it to Tua Tagovailoa at Alabama. Just a devastating injury. 2 years in a row, a Heisman Trophy candidate from Hawaii gets injured. Really tough to see, but he's a good guy. He'll bounce back.
Cover 2 legend, Rich Miano.
Andrew Choi, the Kaiser walk-on. Big sack in the desert versus Vegas. Also a block punt versus Reno. The brother of Zeno Choi, the former walk-on turned captain. Like Zeno, Andrew is one of the hardest working, best student athletes on the Hawaii roster.
Awesome. Brent Clayton.
Double shockers took Roosevelt's Shepherd Kekahuna. 3 touchdowns last week, 2 offensive, 1 defensive, and 2 forced fumbles.
Awesome, and I'm sending mine over to the 200,000 votes that have been tallied so far in the 7th Annual Cover 2 Awards. Voting remains open at KHON2.com. Until Monday, we will reveal the winners on the special 1-hour-long season finale of Cover 2 next Thursday at 9 p.m. Well, that does it for us. Let us know who gets your double shockers using the hashtag Cover2 for our entire Cover 2 crew. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be back here on Thanksgiving night. Aloha.
See ya.
Let's go, boys. Let's go, boys.
Oh, yeah, hello,
Okay, you ready? No. I'm so